The locker room still had that thick mix of sweat and Powerade in the air when we stepped into the lounge. We'd crushed it 42-7. From the first snap, we were in control. The guys were riding high. Music thumped from the speakers. Staff, friends, and family started streaming in, drinks in hand, laughter bouncing off the walls. It was one of those nights you look back on with a grin. Until everything shifted. Christina had already claimed her spot, standing dead center like she ran the place. She had on that red dress, the one that hugged every curve like heat, and a smile that didn't belong to a coach's wife. She was right next to Russell Perry, 27, our hotshot wide receiver, full of swagger and too damn smooth for his own good. At first, I chalked it up to her usual charm. That was Christina's thing, bubbly, social, always working the room. But then I saw her lean in, whisper something in his ear, and giggle like a teenager. His hand grazed her lower back, and she didn't even flinch. I felt it before my eyes caught it. She smacked him, right on the ass. Not playful, not teasing. It was bold, intentional. Her hand didn't just touch, it lingered. Then she gave him a wink. Not for me, for him. And Russell? He grinned like he'd just added another 6 points to the scoreboard. I didn't react, didn't show a thing, just turned away. Nobody else said a word. Or maybe they just chose not to see it. I made my way out the same door I'd come in through, passing the noise, the backpats, the cheers, down the hallway that led to my office. I didn't stop, didn't grab my coat, didn't say goodbye. Outside, the cool air slapped me clean in the face. My car was parked at the far end, away from the lights. I got in, turned the key, and sat there a minute, eyes locked on the empty seat next to me. I wasn't about to yell. I wasn't ready to call her out. Not yet. But something inside me? It snapped. I knew Russell. I knew the games he played. And I knew just where to hit him without throwing a single punch. I'd spent years building up careers. Now I was about to find out how it feels to tear one down. I pulled out of the lot, leaving Christina behind in her spotlight. Let her soak up the cheers, the cameras, the false warmth. Let Russell have his moment. Neither of them realized everything had changed. And I wasn't going to say a damn thing. That night, I didn't sleep. I stayed planted in the living room, in the dark, long after the last car passed by outside. Christina came home close to midnight, heels clicking like she had no guilt in her bones. She didn't ask where I was. Didn't even tap on the guest room door. Just slid into bed like nothing had gone sideways. That said it all. When the sun came up, I wasn't mad. Anger's loud. This was colder. Sharper. Like a knife quietly being drawn from its sheath. So I started small. I went through the team footage, not just games, but the behind-the-scenes stuff we archived. Walkthroughs. Practice sessions. Locker room feeds. I wasn't hunting for plays. I was looking for proof. The red flags were there. Touches that lasted too long. Inside jokes they didn't bother hiding. Christina bringing snacks when Russell stayed late to train. I caught one clip where she brushed something off his cheek, slow, soft, like a woman wiping her husband's face. I clipped that moment, saved the time code, kept going. Back in '01, I busted my collarbone playing college ball. Missed a whole season. Had to sit and watch some photogenic benchwarmer take my spot. That's when I learned, it's not talent that wins. It's leverage. Christina thought she was playing smart. But this wasn't her playing field. This one belonged to me. Midweek, I called Steve, my old roommate from college. He runs a security firm now, surveillance, background checks, digital deep dives. You setting up cams or chasing a rat? He asked. Little of both, I told him. He didn't need to hear more. By Thursday night, I had 4 hidden cameras up in the house. Bedroom, hallway, kitchen, garage, all motion triggered, all cloud synced. So small she'd never see them. I planted a recorder in Christina's car too. Not because I was unsure of her, because I already knew. Friday morning at practice, Russell was practically glowing. Coach, he said, jogging beside me, if this is about last week's snaps. It's not, I cut in. He paused. You sure? I stared him down long enough to make him squirm, then looked away. Run your routes, Russell. Leave the rest to me. But I could tell something was off. He was way too smug, too relaxed. And sure enough, later in the locker room, I overheard him chatting with one of the backup QBs. She's all over me, bro. Like obsessed. You should have seen her eyes last night. Think I care she's married? Her husband's old school. All control, zero heat. No way he's still getting any. Laughter. My ears didn't burn from jealousy. They burned from calculation. Because that little speech? It got recorded. That night, I played back the locker room audio. Twice. No smile. No reaction. Just saved the file to a fresh folder. Evidence. Around 10 p.m., Christina strolled into the kitchen in one of those silky robes she usually saves for date nights. She poured herself a glass of wine, leaned against the counter, and smiled like her world was spotless. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Just tired," I said, without lifting my eyes. She stepped closer, let her fingers trace along my shoulders. I didn't move. "You've been quiet lately," she said. "A little distant. I've just had a lot running through my head." She gave me a small nod, like she got it, then leaned in and kissed my cheek. "Don't stay up too late." And with that, she walked away, hips swaying like she knew I was still watching. As soon as she turned the corner, I pulled out my phone and checked the motion alerts. The garage cam had picked something up earlier, Russell's car pulling in and leaving within 5 minutes. No luggage. No real talk. Just him. And her. Timestamp locked. His face crystal clear. Right there in my garage. I stared at the footage. That man had crossed my line, walked straight into my home. A chill slid through me. Russell didn't realize it yet, but the clock was already ticking. Monday at practice, I flipped the drill order. We started with conditioning, rolled into scrimmage, then went straight to full contact. Normally, we'd break that up. Let the guys catch their breath. Not this time. Russell was logging twice the yards any other receiver was covering. He didn't say a word. Probably thought I was pushing him on purpose, testing him. Maybe. He was proud like that. Too proud to back off. "Again," I called, as he finished another route, chest heaving. "Coach, that's 6 in a row. Then make number 7 count." He gave me a quick nod, chest pumping like a piston, and jogged back to reset. I wasn't being reckless. I wasn't setting him up to get hurt. But I knew exactly where his weaknesses were. That left ankle had been wrapped more than once last season. He'd taken a rib shot in preseason and played through it. Tough guy, sure, but not unbreakable. So I made sure the plays hit those soft spots. Deep routes that stretched him out. Sharp cuts to test his balance. And every time he landed just a little wrong, I caught the wince. By the end of the week, Russell was limping his way off the field. Still smiling. Still tossing looks at Christina from the sideline. But that limp? That was fear starting to set in. Christina picked up on the shift. She didn't say it outright, but I caught the way she looked at me from across the room, more cautious now. She'd ask little things. "Russell seemed off last game. Is he okay?" I'd just shrug. "He'll recover." At night, she got quieter. Less bold. Less full of herself. She started bringing me coffee in the mornings again, just like she used to. That was Christina. She could feel the power slipping, even if she didn't understand why. By the second week of ramped-up drills, Russell came up short on a sprint. Pulled his hamstring. It wasn't torn, but it was tight enough to pull him from the lineup. I gave the medic a nod. "Sit him. At least 2 weeks." Russell looked over at me from the bench, half lost, half panicked. I didn't meet his eyes. I was already focused on the next rep. That night, Christina was waiting in the kitchen again. Wine on the counter. Music low. A single candle burning. "We haven't really talked lately," she said softly. "You seem somewhere else." "I've been working." Her mouth twitched. "Russell is benched." "Yep." She studied me like she was trying to figure out what I wasn't saying. "Do you think he's pretending?" I turned to face her slowly, steady. "I think people get hurt when they reach too far. When they start thinking they're untouchable." Her eyes flickered. She backed up a little. "I wasn't trying to." "I know exactly what you were trying to say," I told her, and walked past without looking back. At practice, Russell tackled his rehab like a man chasing ghosts. He was desperate to stay in the game. But something had cracked. His speed was off. His edge was slipping. I subbed in a rookie for scrimmage that day. Kid ran clean routes, quick on his feet, grabbed 2 long throws like he was born for it. I gave him a pat on the back. "Keep that up." From the sidelines, Russell watched, towel around his neck, jaw tight. He knew what was happening. The water was full of sharks now. Christina never mentioned Russell again. Not over dinner. Not in the bedroom. She stopped swinging by practice. No more winks. No more flirty nonsense. She didn't say sorry. Didn't come clean. But she started watching me differently, like I was someone new. Someone she couldn't read anymore. Good. Let her stew in that. Let both of them sit in the dark. Because the harshest punishment isn't pain. It's silence. The second injury didn't look serious at first glance. It happened during a red zone drill on Wednesday. Russell planted too hard, lost his footing on the turf, and twisted his right knee on the way down. No dramatic noise. No yelling. But I saw it. He didn't spring back up. The trainers rushed in. I stayed put, arms folded, face unreadable. Some swelling near the kneecap, one of them said under his breath. Could be a sprain, or worse. We'll need imaging to be sure. I gave a small nod. Pull him out of contact. Rehab only. As he hobbled off the field, Russell kept his eyes on the ground. That night, I stood on the back deck, beer in hand, watching the sun drop behind the trees. Christina slid open the screen door and stepped out barefoot. You heard? She asked. I didn't turn. About Russell? Yeah. She stayed quiet after that. No small talk. No comments. Just that thick quiet between two people who used to be close. You think he'll be ready by playoffs? She asked after a beat. Hard to say. She bit her lower lip. He's got talent. I turned my head slightly. He did. She recoiled, just a twitch, but I caught it. By Friday, the MRI confirmed a partial meniscus tear. 6 weeks out minimum. I gave him the update myself. Focus on getting better, I said. We'll handle things from here. He blinked. That's all. That's all. He paused. Did I do something wrong, coach? I finally looked him in the eye. You ever hear the saying, don't piss in the river you drink from? His face lost all color. I turned and walked away. That weekend, I reached out to an old friend, Jesse Phillips. Used to be my buddy in college. Now he's a family attorney with a nose for weak spots in the system. I need to start laying some groundwork, I told him. Divorce or dollars? Both. He didn't crack a joke. Talk to me. I gave him the rundown. No drama. Just facts. Christina's behavior. The affair. The recordings. The financial risk. My reputation. My property. You got proof? Plenty. Then we've already got the edge. That night, Christina knocked on my office door, something she hadn't done in months. Can we talk? I waved her to the chair. She sat down, legs crossed, eyes uneasy. I feel like you're upset with me, she said carefully. I didn't answer. I honestly don't know what I've done, she added, watching me. I held her gaze and let the silence drag on until it wrapped around the room. You sure about that? I asked, finally. She blinked, caught off guard. If something's wrong, I want to fix it. I leaned back in my chair. That's the thing, Christina. Not everything's fixable. Some things just come into the light. She looked like I'd struck her. I don't know what you're implying, she said too fast. I stared at her steady, unblinking. You will. The next morning, she didn't leave the house. Didn't text anyone. Didn't laugh. She wore old sweats, made breakfast with no music on, and kept glancing over her shoulder like she felt something closing in. Good. Fear gets the point across. Back at the facility, Russell had ditched the crutches, but he was moving like an aging vet. The other players had started backing off, too. Quiet murmurs in the hallway. A few looks that didn't need words. That's how it works. When your shine fades, people stop reaching out. No one wants to catch what you've got. And just like that, he was alone. Exactly where I needed him. Most nights, I'd sit alone in the study, sorting through old recordings, scrubbing audio, lining up files by date. Not because I needed more evidence. I already had plenty. I just liked the feeling of knowing I held all the cards. Control. Leverage. Clarity. I used to love Christina. Now, I just own the ending. And I was only getting warmed up. That night, Christina waited until the whole house had gone quiet. It was late, past midnight. I was still in the study, lamp casting stretched out shadows across my desk, pretending to care about player reports. The door creaked open. She stepped in barefoot, her robe pulled tight like it was armor. Can we talk? She asked, voice barely above a whisper. I didn't answer right away. Just shut the folder I hadn't read a word of. She perched on the edge of the couch like a kid waiting to be scolded, hands folded in her lap. I don't know what's going on with us, she began, soft and shaky. But I don't want to lose this. Us. The kids. Everything we've built. Still, I stayed quiet. So she leaned in a little more. If I've done something wrong, I'm sorry. I leaned forward, elbows resting on my knees. You're sorry. Her eyes locked onto mine, glassy, wide, pleading. I am. I opened the drawer beside me, took out a flash drive, and set it on the table between us. Then let's make sure we're clear on exactly what you're sorry for. She stared at it like it was a grenade. I don't need to see that, she said, barely audible. But you will, I said, getting up. I walked over to the TV, plugged it in, and after a few clicks, the screen lit up. Russell's voice filled the room. She's into me, man. You think I care she's married? Christina's face went pale. Then came the video, garage cam, timestamp clear. Russell stepping in. Christina greeting him. That kiss, quick but real. I didn't look at her. My eyes stayed on the screen. She put a hand over her mouth. Please stop, she said. I paused it. The silence that followed felt loud. I could send this to the league, I said, calm and steady. Or every major sports network. The team's board. Even your parents. But I won't. Why not? She whispered. I turned to her, calm. Precise. Because I don't need revenge. I already won. Christina didn't move. Just sat there, shaking. Tears ran down her face, and she didn't even try to wipe them away. I'll do anything, she murmured. Just, please don't blow everything up. I tilted my head a little. You already did. She looked up at me like she was reaching for something to hold on to. What do you want from me? I let a small smile show. I want you quiet. I want you home. I want you to act like the woman you pretend to be when the kids are around. No more games. No more lies. And you don't try to take a damn thing from me. Not the house. Not the team. Not the name. She nodded slowly, hands trembling. Oh, I said, picking up a folder from the desk. And you're going to sign this. It was a post-nup, solid as steel. Jessie had drafted it, combed through it 3 times. It let her keep a roof over her head and see the kids. That's it. No alimony. No slice of the team's earnings. No legal hold on anything made after year 5 of the marriage. Christina looked at the paperwork like it was a prison sentence. You said we weren't getting divorced, she said, her voice cracked. We're not, I said. This is me taking back control. That same weekend, Russell showed up at the facility out of the blue. I spotted him through my office window, walking with a limp, dressed in team gear, holding a medical clearance slip. His face still held on to hope. I waited until he knocked on the door. Coach, he said with a forced grin. I'm cleared. I'm ready to grind. I know I messed up, but... I raised my hand to stop him. Russell, I said, keeping my voice even. You're not stepping back onto this field. His jaw tightened. It was one mistake. No, I said, cutting him off. You made 2. You crossed the line as a player, and then you ran your mouth about it. You had the skills. But skills without control? That's just dead weight. He stood there, frozen. I'm not going to report anything, I went on. You can walk out of here with your name clean. Or you can fight it. And I'll make damn sure every scout in this league knows exactly who you are. His face cracked, eyes wide, stunned. You're ending my career over her? No, I said. Over my wife. He turned and left without another word. From the kitchen window, Christina watched his car pull away. She didn't say a thing. She knew her place now. That night, I slept like a rock. Not because I'd forgiven her. Not because what happened could be undone. But because I held every single card. And I wasn't ever giving that power back. 3 months rolled by. We wrapped the season strong, 12 wins. For losses, made a solid playoff run. Reporters praised my tactical adjustments, called me the calm in the chaos. They had no clue the real storm was brewing back at home. Christina still showed up to press events now and then. Always in black dresses. Always one step behind me. Just out of the spotlight, but close enough to sell the image of a loving, loyal wife. Pictures hit the web. Coach Roberts and his wife, the team behind Denver's turnaround season. I didn't stop them. Let her wear the mask. Let the world believe the lie. Inside the house, Christina barely spoke. She got up early, made breakfast for the kids, kept the house spotless, went to school meetings like she was following orders. No more flirty messages. No more surprise visits to the practice field. No fancy perfume, just the kind you'd forget a minute after she passed by. She didn't laugh much. Didn't smile the way she used to. She aged fast. Faster than anyone should in just a few months. I never laid a hand on her. Never raised my voice. Never embarrassed her in front of the kids. I didn't have to. She woke up every morning knowing that one slip, one wrong move, and I'd end her. And I wouldn't even have to lift a finger. At work, I brought on a new assistant trainer. Emily. Mid-30s. Fit. Sharp as hell. Those green eyes could size a man up before he even spoke. We kept things clean in public. But on Thursdays, I stayed late. On Saturdays, I said I was working at the office. And once a month, I took recruiting trips that had nothing to do with football. Emily never brought up Christina. Never asked questions. She wasn't trying to take anyone's place. She knew exactly how things stood. So did I. At home, Christina never questioned my late nights. She never asked about my phone. Never mentioned my calendar. Never wondered why I stopped kissing her goodnight. She understood. The kids were okay. I made damn sure of it. I coached my boys' little league team. Took my daughter to her dance recitals. Smiled for the holiday photos. Played my part when I had to. But deep down, I never came back. That version of me, the one who loved her, he stayed gone. And Christina? She felt it. One night, I caught her looking at me across the dinner table. It wasn't love in her eyes. And it wasn't hate, either. It was something stuck in the middle, like she wanted to ask if this was permanent, but deep down, she already knew. I didn't respond. Just handed her the salt and kept chewing. I'd rewritten the deal. And not just the one with lawyers, the one between us. Christina could stay. She could keep my last name. She could raise the kids in the home we built brick by brick. But any claim she had to me? That was gone. And Russell? Last I heard, he was up in Canada playing semi-pro. No sponsors. No press. Just another name on a jersey nobody remembered. Funny thing about torching a bridge, you start to appreciate the quiet that follows. Some nights, I'd sit out back with a cigar, watching the stadium lights blink across town. Emily would shoot me a message, clever, flirty, just enough to make me grin. Christina would be inside, folding laundry in silence. Guilt? I didn't carry that anymore. What I felt was balance. Not grace. Not payback. Just the scales evening out. I didn't destroy everything. I just changed the terms. And this time, I made damn sure the rules were mine.